Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. I am Naiwal. And today we are talking about Fallout, the series. Not necessarily the games, but I'm sure the games are going to be brought up a lot, which is the nature of the beast. Fallout is a game that has been around since 1997. 97? Yeah, because they had 25 years of Fallout like last year, so... Was that 2 years ago? Jesus Christ. It was created and published by Interplay originally. Specifically created by a guy named Tim Kaine. If you don't know Tim Kaine, freaking awesome. Used the GURP system as like the original inspiration. But the person who made the GURP system was like, well, Fallout's just too violent. And I don't want the game to be any kind of representation of that. So Tim Kaine said, screw it. Well, we're just going to use special instead of the traditional stats that GURPS used. And boom. That's how we ended up with the special system. Anyway, Fallout is a post-apocalyptic game inspired by, the likes of Mad Max and A Boy and His Dog. Fallout was so initially successful, then boom, we got Fallout 2. Then they were going to make, they made Fallout Tactics. Then they were going to make Fallout 3, which didn't actually happen. It was like Project Van Buren, I think. And then that fell through. Or something. I don't know. I don't know the exact lore behind that, but I know at some point Bethesda adopted the game. And then they made Fallout 3. And then Bethesda was like, hey, Obsidian, what are you guys doing these days? Would you like to make something? And like Obsidian's like, yes, let's use the IP. We're gonna do it. And then they shat out probably one of the most prolific games in RPG history.
Okay. Well, what kind of Fallout fan are you? You don't know?
If you think about fantastic Western RPGs, I can guarantee you Fallout New Vegas is always in the top 5. Always. If not number 1 for a lot of people. Personally for me, Oblivion is better than New Vegas. I said it. I don't care. But that's a close. Because to me, it goes Oblivion, then New Vegas, then Skyrim, then Fallout 4. I don't know. That's also me just ranking specifically Bethesda games. So, and it, just because Fallout 3 isn't necessarily in my top 5 doesn't mean I don't like it. Okay, Fallout 3 is fantastic. Fallout 3 is the game that introduced me to Fallout franchise as a whole. Anyway, that sidetracked. Then Fallout 4 gets made. Big deal. 4 times the detail, or was that 76?
16 times the detail.
76 gets made after. It's an online multiplayer game, and they shit the bed on that one. They're like pretty bad. The launch of that was bad. I have the helmet that has the mold in it too.
Please!
Like a bitch! Okay.
You have the Nuka Dark, which a lot of people found out was just a plastic bottle holding a different glass bottle, which kind of screwed up on that one. I feel like that was a layup, but we had obviously the famous canvas bag debacle.
Instead, customers were dismayed to open the box and find a crappy nylon bag, which looks and feels like a glorified trash bag. Understand and respect the disappointment before offering an insultingly meager and opportunistic 500 atoms, which isn't even enough currency to get a digital version of a canvas bag.
Yeah, and Fallout 76 in itself was a buggy mess, which, that's not uncommon for Bethesda games at a launch. Which, me personally, I was playing that game. I was having fun with that game. My friend Chris, he doesn't talk to me very much anymore, but me and my friend Chris, we play the hell out of that game. All that to say, Fallout 76 left Fallout kind of in a questionable state, in an uncertain state of where it should be, where there was expectations, and in the background you have the Elder Scroll fanboys who are, which I'm one of those. I'm going to be perfectly clear. I am one of those, okay? While Fallout just got Fallout 76, and we're still getting like the 20th re-release of Skyrim. And then rumors start circulating around that Fallout's about to get a TV show. Hard to believe. And sure enough, the man, the myth, the legend himself, Todd Howard, has made it happen. And he worked with Jonathan Nolan, which did work on Westworld, which that got canceled. I didn't get a chance to watch season 3 before they took it off HBO Max when it was known as HBO Max. So I necessarily can't say if the cancellation was justified. but it is what it is. Wasn't necessarily the most convincing thing for anyone who was uncertain if the Fallout show was going to be good. In the process of this, The Last of Us ended up coming out. That was a very good video game adaptation, so there was some hope there. And then at the same time, it was Prime Video that was doing it, and we saw what happened with the Rings of Power. So that seems to be a lot of the holdup that people had was like, they made the Rings of Power, and I'm also like, yeah, but come on, these are the same people that made The Boys.
And you might want to gargle my ball sack.
This is the same people that made one of my favorite death scenes happen ever. You remember the one with Popclaw? I remember that one. And finally, we are here. The Fallout show, after 25 years, has happened.
You gotta be fucking kidding me.
And you're probably wondering, well, Naiwal, what do you think about it? Is it worth a Fallout fan's attention? Which, to some people, that I feel like, which I need to say this, I'm not one of these lore channels. I'm not like, these people who know the lore to their core, right? I'm someone who plays the games, enjoys the games, and also has the capacity to make fun of those games at the same time while still showing love for it, right? Because I feel like if you don't have the ability to make fun of the things you love, then you don't truly love those things. I do think the Fallout show is a fantastic adaptation, and which, to a degree, I wouldn't even say is necessarily an adaptation more than an expansion on an already existing world. In my mind, an adaptation is taking a story that already exists and formatting it into a medium that it doesn't exist in already, right? So, like the Harry Potter books, you have the Harry Potter movies, with the Witcher books, you have the Witcher TV show and the Witcher games. Those are its own separate adaptations. The Last of Us game and the Last of Us show, all the stories remain consistent. Fallout, however, tells a story that takes place how many years after Fallout 4? Okay, so the TV show is set in the year 2296, so that's 9 years after Fallout 4, right? I'm gonna keep this first part spoiler free, so that if anyone's just curious on my thoughts on the show without fully going into the details, I'll talk about the things that I like and talk about the things that I don't like real quick, and then I'll get into the spoilers and then talk about the spoilers I like and the spoilers I don't like. That work? All right, cool. First off, in terms of the things that I like, the characters, we have the three main characters. We have the Ghoul, which is Cooper Howard, Maximus, and Lucy. All of them cover different aspects of what we know about Fallout. We have, the Ghoul is the lone wanderer, so to speak, the mercenary, he's an all-around badass. This guy has agility 10, has to, which actually I think they made a stat block for each of the characters, and surprisingly his charisma is pretty high despite being a ghoul. Yeah, I don't know about that one. If anyone has charisma, I feel like it's Lucy, right? I don't know, but his luck should be a lot higher than what it is. He's a ghoul. Anyway, whatever. If there was an archetype to give him, I want to say tired hero. I would say given up hero archetype. Stop trying to be a hero and really just started looking out for himself. That kind of guy. Maximus is someone who wants to be a hero but sucks at it. He is an idiot hero, so to speak, and in the process he screws over a lot of people in order to obtain his goals. In my opinion, I think Maximus is a great character. I think there's a lot of human element to him, which, it's easy to just write someone as they're heroic, they're good, and they will get the job done. Writing a flawed character is great writing. If you're not giving me something to root for or feel like, come on, man, I'm not going to be that invested. And Lucy is naive and optimistic because she's just coming out of a vault. And I think she's also a very fun character as well.
You have real cotton?
Of course.
In the show, we're seeing them all. They're all after a same goal, and their stories cross over. We get several pre-war flashbacks as well, which, yeah, I don't know how much of a spoiler this is. It's the Ghouls character's flashback because he's a pre-war Ghoul, which the flashback helps build up some of that before the bombs dropped, what kind of led to the world ending. Maximus, we get insight into what it's like being in the Brotherhood of Still, and just what it means to him to be a knight in the Brotherhood of Still. And Lucy, she's pursuing after her dad. She's trying to find her dad in the Wasteland, and she is trying to do good by him and by others around her, because she was raised a certain way that is just not done in the vault, done in the Wasteland, but only in the vaults.
If my dad found out that I destroyed an entire community to save him, that'd break his heart.
Throughout this story, we also get like a B plot line with her brother Norm, who is still back in Vault 33, and he begins to investigate the vault. So if you play any Fallout game, vaults are screwed up. Vault tech is a spoiler alert. Not really. I'm gonna just say this: vault tech is bad. It is bad. Okay. You know, we get into the irony of capitalism and this thing being on Prime Video. It's hilarious. Very ironic in terms of like video game things adapted into the show that I liked really well. I mean, we see how well, one, the power armor's dope.
Yeah, boy. I'm a god. How can you kill a god?
I love the power armor. A lot of people say it looks clunky. I don't care. If I had one of those things for my skits, are you kidding me? You know how difficult it would be for me not to be in power armor in every one of my skits. The only thing that would get in my way is like how difficult it is to put on versus just the jacket. This took me less than a second. That's not true. I'm not that fast of a dresser. It probably took me like 5 seconds to put this on. But yeah, power armor takes me too long. It takes 30-minute process just to put it on. I don't know if I'm doing that for every video, but damn, I'm gonna try. Anyway, power armor looks great. The attention to the set details is awesome, with just what's used in terms of what the sets look like. They do a lot of visual foreshadowing. If you've seen the show, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, this is going to give you a little heads up on what to be looking out for. But it simply just says, don't lose your head. It's just a vault boy sticking a thumbs up, right? And that's visual foreshadowing. You'll understand. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, just look out for it. There's some new weapons and old weapons that are introduced into the show that I like. I think we have the original 10mm from Fallout 1 make an appearance, and I love the aesthetic of that gun, and I've got to get it for my skits. Fantastic. And then we have the Ghouls gun, which that thing is phenomenal, and I would love to see how it works inside the game, because this thing blows.
Oh, that's actually hilarious.
This thing blows holes into people like the size of my fist. And it's a pistol, or is that buckshot? How does that work? Anyone know? If you know how that would work logistically in the comments, please let me know. We get the syringer, and like there's some other surprises that I probably should just keep for the spoiler side of it. Screw it. It happens in the first episode. The junk jet shows up. I feel like you should. Hell yeah, the junk jet shows up. As for like a nitpick, the junk jet is not nearly around long enough for me to fully appreciate it the way it should be appreciated. That's just my opinion, though. Thinking of individual factions with the Brotherhood of Still, I do feel like it's more of a frat than it is the super. I don't know. I feel like in Fallout 4, they're a bit more refined in their approach on how they do things. They don't respect outsiders very well, but at the very least, they seem to respect each other. That doesn't seem to happen in the show. They treat each other like absolute garbage.
Can you identify this relic?
Broder?
A lot of people have said that it's very, very true to the U.S. Army and what it's like being in a at camp, but whenever you're actually on the ground doing work, those people care for you and they'll look out for you there. So maybe that's what we'll see later down the road. But my opinion, right now, they're a frat. They do a good job of leaving gray area for who villains are in this show. Because the Ghoul's not very likable at first. Well, no, he's likable, but he's an asshole, and he's getting in the way throughout the thing for Lucy and Maximus. He's just causing problems for them.
You drive that thing like a fucking shopping cart.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what I could say that's not spoilers. I don't know. I can't think of anything else really, because I want to get into spoilers there, but I guess I'll talk about some of the things I didn't like, which, you know, it's not a very long list. I don't think. It's really just nitpicky, because they totally changed how Pit Boys work in this show, and it's nothing that I'm really used to. Like a tracker, which I guess to a degree makes sense, because how else are we able to keep track of our companions? Like I know sometimes you actually, oh, this is where Piper is, or specific quest givers that we have to find or whatever. Like to a degree, that makes sense to me. The Geiger counter not always being on, and then them being surprised whenever a certain group of people have infiltrated. It's like, what are we doing? I don't know. It's like, how did the Geiger counter come off now, but why didn't it come out, go off then? It's really just, it's small nitpicky things that I think are more based in the video game. I'm trying to think about this more objectively in terms of just watching it as a show. Anyway, that's it for the spoiler-free section of this, because I've got to talk about the spoilers now. Are you good? If you enjoyed the spoiler-free section of this, like the video down. If I helped you, okay, if I helped you make an informed decision on watching the show, like the video now. And even if I didn't like the video anyway, leave a comment and tell me why you're not going to watch the show. But leave a comment, leave a comment and like it. All right, thank you very much. So spoiler side, the spoilers I liked. Let's talk off rip. They confirmed Vault-Tec dropped the bombs. That's cool, because this whole time I've been thinking that for a minute, because I was like, it feels like something Vault-Tec would do, because they're so caught up in their own ass about the end of the world. So I'm like, yeah, they would set it off, right? Surely they would. The twist with Hank and Betty and all these people from Vault 31, because they have a saying. It's like,
you know what they say, when things look glum, vote for somebody from Vault 31.
And all these people are actually from pre-war Vault-Tec. It's like, oof. So they're trying to make their own Vault-Tec, world, which is kind of crazy. I don't know. I saw some people go like, why are they bringing Vault-Tec back into this? Blah, blah, blah. Vault-Tec hasn't been directly a bad guy or at all, ever, I don't think. Because all we know is that Vault-Tec did horrible experiments, and we knew like Vault-Tec is bad. Like throughout the entirety of the games, we're all like, yeah, Vault-Tec is not good. Oh, they purposely didn't completely seal off Vault 12, and boom, we got a bunch of ghouls, and they made Necropolis. Like, Vault-Tec's not good. So getting a confirmation of who the villain was overall, ending up being Vault-Tec themselves for this, little subplot, or not even subplot, this campaign setting, I want to call it. I know tabletop role-playing game terms, but whenever the show proceeds forward and Vault-Tec is the main antagonist that we need to, be looking out for, because there's plenty of people in the show that you go, they're not good, but probably would rather work with them than Vault-Tec at this point. The Brotherhood of Still elder, this guy who's talking about, you've got to take power, Maximus, and that's exactly what you did.
We once ruled the Wasteland. Power is taken, not given.
Guys like that, I'd be like, well, he's a lesser evil than Vault-Tec. And you understand kind of why, like, Coop is so hateful toward Miss Lucy because she is a product of Vault-Tec, and we know that he's Vault Boy, and he had been manipulated by his wife, who was Vault-Tec, and manipulated by the company itself, who was Vault-Tec as well, and finding out that they planned on dropping the bombs and doing horrible experiments because his wife was like, well, I want to make sure we're in the good vaults.
One of the good vaults.
What's that supposed to mean?
Stupid bitch. I swear to God, dude, if I saw someone wearing a Pip-Boy in real life, like casually like that, I'd hit them in their face. But then again, they probably said, if someone from Fallout saw me on my phone like this, they probably hit me in my face. As much as I love my Pip-Boy, I'm not walking around with this thing. By the way, that's Aaron Moten's autograph, Maximus, right there. Signed by Pip-Boy. So if you see it in my videos, which I gotta retire this thing. I do too much of my own stunts to just be using this thing willy-nilly. It needs to go. So I'm gonna keep it on my shelf. You know what? Hey, if anyone has one of the show Pip-Boys, and then you're like, it's just gonna take up dust, and you want to give it to someone, give it to me. Hit me up. Go to my Twitter @Naiwal too. If you haven't followed me on Twitter, follow me on Twitter right now. Thank you. His wife, which, dude, and there's so many dumb people online. And if you're one of these people who said this, I apologize for insulting you, but you're an idiot. Because why did I see this post that was like, if Hank was Henry, then ... shows a picture of Howard's wife, Cooper Howard's wife. Then was Cooper Howard's wife Betty? Moron. And like literally the person behind Hank is Betty. Anyway, so yeah, I think Vault-Tec being a bad guy makes sense. Beyond that, the Brotherhood is still not using energy weapons. What the hell are we doing? Some people are like, well, maybe they're just trying not to blow their whole wad right now on season 1. But there's so much wad to blow, and you'd still have more wads of surprises for the next however many seasons you're trying to do. I get not wanting to do a Fat Man off rip. Right, because if we're gonna gauge what Lucy's in character level was, like if we're gonna say this is our vault dweller, they just left the vault, they did a couple side quests, but primarily main quests, Lucy's level 10, level 12, right? Somewhere around there. That's my guess. But I'm not saying that we have to have a Fat Man off rip, right? I think it would have been cool. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But like I said, we got the junk jet, and it showed up 5 minutes. The junk jet is iconic. Let me see a railway rifle. Let me see plasma rifle get used. Because old lady, what was her name? I'm gonna call her Melba. I know that's not her name. Marge. Dang it, dude! I met this lady. She had a plasma pistol sitting over her shoulder. And I'm sitting there seeing that. I was like, oh, I wonder if Lucy will take that with her. Nope, she didn't. She's stuck with the syringer. Which, it is what it is. And then we have Moldaver pull up, and she walks out, struts out like she's hot shit with a laser pistol. And I don't even see that shit get fired once. I see people pull in on vertibirds using the Gatling. That's it. Also, I want to talk about the fact that, and I feel like it necessarily wasn't called, but I feel like I called it. Yeah, they run into a Yaguai early on in the show. Homie calls it a irradiated bear. That's the only time you hear them talk about the Yaguai. They don't say Yaguai. They say don't feed the Yaguai. They just say irradiated bear. I'm like, that's how they skirting around this shit. I expected a super mutant. I'm surprised we didn't see that. Maybe that's one of the WAs that they're trying to avoid. Because we could have got Nightkin. Maybe we can do a Nightkin season 2, right? Which I haven't touched on the big spoiler yet, right? But yeah, we'll save that till later because that'll get into theories, and we'll talk about theories. No, I think I was just disappointed with the lack of energy weapons and so many weapons that could have been used, but just really weren't. Yeah, I mean, you know, big reveals out of this is Hank, bad guy, Vault Tech, bad guy. They want to blow up any kind of civilizations that are being built in the Wasteland so that they can do Reclamation Day properly with no one getting in the way. They nuke Shady Sands, which this right here, good God. Oh my God. You want to talk about stepping all over the wrong portion of the Fallout fan base. That was it right there. I'm watching people lose their minds on Twitter. Oh, New Vegas isn't canon anymore because Todd Howard. Oh my God, Todd Howard. And I'm just like, is anyone looking at this goddamn chalkboard? Why are we so focused on the chalkboard? It says 2277 blew up. You know, it says the fall of Shady Sands. 2277, the fall of Shady Sands. And then it shows an explosion down the timeline. At the end of the timeline is the explosion. Not explosion, the fall of Shady Sands. No. It's by itself. Fall of Shady Sands. All right, you following with me? Explosion. People are going, well, if Shady Sands has fallen before New Vegas, why, blah, 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 we would have heard about it, etc., etc. And at the same time, I want to say, hey, I mentioned it earlier about being an Elder Scrolls fanboy. Welcome to the club, buddy. Welcome to the club. Bethesda has been doing this with the Elder Scrolls for years, son. For years. You understand? That's why they had to make a thing called the Dragon Break, which makes all things that have ever happened in the game technically canon.
So Dragon Break is an event in which time stops working properly. It can be caused by, well, whatever is convenient for the writers, but essentially what happens is during a Dragon Break, an unknown number of timelines and events can all happen at once.
That is just Bethesda being Bethesda. There's nothing you could do about that, cookie. Period. Just like I have a problem with the fact that people are apparently at drive-thrus watching movies in broad daylight all across America whenever the bombs go down. And don't give me that, it dropped, the bombs dropped during the afternoon in the West Coast, which means it was nighttime on the East Coast. Jackass, please play Fallout 4 if you're saying that right now. Because in Fallout 4, it drops at like 9:47 o'clock in the morning. Okay? Which means, guess what time it is, baby? 6:47 on the West Coast. They were having a birthday party at 6:47? No, they weren't. That doesn't matter then. Because it was like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, whenever the bombs fell in the show. And am I gonna lose my mind? No. Are they wrong? No. And am I wrong? Absolutely not. Because I'm going based off of Fallout 4. Oh yeah, so with all that New Vegas stuff being said, the show ends with Hank heading to New Vegas, right? And we get a Deathclaw skull. First sign of a Deathclaw, which I can only assume we're going to see Deathclaws in, the next season. Should I expect super mutants? I don't know. But I better get at least one laser rifle getting shot off. Please, for the love of God. Embrace the lasers. Part of me thinks that they were afraid to do lasers because it would look cheesy. But the bear attack doesn't seem cheesy. I'm just saying. It's time to talk about, some of the theories that I have. Let's break it down. I feel like first we need to talk about the Brotherhood of Still. I think we got a canon ending for Fallout 4 with the Brotherhood of Still being present in this show. Because the Prewar airship, right? I mean, they said it in an interview that it has a different name. But you got bozos like me and people who obsess over Fallout stuff who are actively looking at, every little detail about this ship. And then they notice that it actually said Prewar on it. Yeah, it's a little, okay. All right, I'm going to say maybe that was, just an artist not paying attention. All right, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt of that. But if that were the case, you'd think they would have clarified that this ship was different by actually calling it another name of the show. They do not. But they don't say Prewar either. That being said, though, there's only one ending in Fallout 4 where the Pridwin still stays. It ain't the Institute ending, the Minutemen ending, the Railroad ending. It is a goddamn Brotherhood of Still ending. So that means we blew up the Institute. We said, screw you, Minutemen. And we said, Railroad sucks. Destroy all sense. Which, you know, to some people, kudos, we got what we wanted. To other people, I sided with the Institute the first time. I sided with the Institute almost every time too. That kind of freaking sucks. Now, I don't think they can make not sponsored by Pepsi, by the way. I don't think they can make a Dragon Break occur in Fallout. What? Todd Howard's gonna do it. Todd Howard's gonna do it. He's gonna make a Dragon Break in Fallout. Good God. So yeah, with that being said, that means we know Maxon is worshipped as a god on the West Coast, right? And Pridwin, that's where Maxon is. Assuming, unless he retired or got shot. There's another running theory that's pretty interesting. I kind of like it. I feel like it matches up pretty well, that the Legion assimilated with the Brotherhood of Steel, and they kind of joined forces after, you know, the NCR damn near wiped out all the Brotherhood of Steel in the New Vegas area, and the Legion probably got their asses stomped. But I don't think New Vegas would look the way it does, the way we see it at the end of the show, if the NCR had taken it over. Because we know one thing, Mr. House is very like, this is my city and we're keeping it just like this, a beacon of hope in the Wasteland. I mean, they even hint that, you know, at Mr. House, whenever they show him in this board meeting, you know, talking to all these other y'all means, what we had Sinclair from Big Empty, which, you know, that was interesting. That was Sinclair, right? No, someone in the comments tell me if I'm wrong. I know there's like 20 comments probably complaining about something that I said at this point. The canon ending for New Vegas is also going to be confirmed in the process. We're going to find out. The canon ending is the Yes Man, not the Yes Man. Whoa, where'd that come from? The Mr. House ending, siding with Mr. House. The house always wins. We're likely going to find out what happened with Courier 6. I don't know if people are going to like that. It definitely seems that Hank is running to New Vegas because he needs either Mr. House's help, or that's where the Vault Tech people are hiding. You know, Telesnakes Full had pointed out that the Tops Casino has like some cryopods going on inside, like, and that's probably where Cooper's family is being held at. That's where the main Vault Tech people are being held at, which I'm like, at the same time, I don't know. The way I see this, he had his daughter with him while he was, you know, doing some kind of work for alimony, and the bombs dropped while he's doing that. He's riding his goddamn horse. He obviously goes and drops off his daughter with his ex-wife, who naturally takes her in but does not take him in. His ass gets blasted by the radiation. He becomes a ghoul. Which I just want to say, Cooper makes a big deal about like where his family is, but he only does that at the end of the show. I don't think he actually, you know, knew that this whole thing tied in with Hank McClane and Vault Tech until he found out Moldaver was involved. Which I think after he spied on his wife, either, you know, someone divorced somebody. If it was Cooper, he divorced her because he was like, I can't believe you're like this. You're such a monster. And naturally, she wins both ways. She wins the divorce by getting custody of the child, by also probably saying, hey, Coop is a communist sympathizer, which is why he can no longer get work in the film industry and has to work doing kids' birthday parties, right? And then, you know, the other side of that is she goes, Coop, I want a divorce. You betrayed my trust and you're a communist sympathizer. So I don't think that's going to pan out well. I can see Cooper seeing his daughter in, you know, this cryopod. Maybe she even gets out and she doesn't recognize this man because he's ghoulified. He's gross and grotesque. And I think it's going to make him sad. And we might even actually get a hero sacrifice out of Cooper. I don't know if it's going to be in season 2. Maybe later down the road whenever they decide to wrap up, you know, the story that they're trying to tell. But I definitely think that his destiny is the hero's sacrifice. It's, you know, it's kind of a cliche that we see with the reluctant, you know, tired hero. I'm not gonna do that. I've been taken advantage of. Now I have turned into the monster that the Wasteland has treated me as. And we're probably gonna get that moment where he's like, "You're it. You're the hope. You're the one thing that sparked it up. And I'll be damned if I let you die." And he goes out in a blaze of glory. Which to that degree, you know, Lucy's obviously traveling with him to go after her dad, who ended up blowing up Shady Sands. You want to talk about petty? He blew up Shady Sands because his wife took his kids and didn't want to come back to the vault because he's a little monster. So he just blew up the whole place. You know, I gotta say, they blew up the place and she became a ghoul. And I guess this is a nitpick. Why is everybody just capable of turning into a ghoul? Thaddeus, you know, the Brotherhood squire who was working with Maximus for a little bit, he turns into a ghoul. What the hell is up with that? Because from what I understand, being able to turn into a ghoul is like a genetic thing. Like you have it or you don't. But they even kind of hint Lucy, like Coop tells Lucy, "Oh, I'm you, just give it a little time." Like hinting at, yeah, the Wasteland's going to turn you into a ghoul. Like everyone is destined to turn into a ghoul at some point. Either you die or you become a ghoul. I'm just like, yeah, that's not how that works in the game, right? And I didn't really even talk about the fact that you have to take medicine to resist being a feral ghoul. I feel like over time something would have been developed. I guess it makes sense. I don't think it's something that has existed since the bombs drop. I think it was something that was created out of a necessity, that ghouls needed it and they would definitely pay for it. So they begin making this and distributing it, right? Which I guess that kind of raises a question, like, who is making this medicine that prevents feral ghoulification? I think it's probably a more recent. No, because that guy said he had been turning for 20 years. The guy that they made ass jerky out of, he said he'd been in the process for a minute. And maybe they'll explain it. Maybe we'll find out that, you know, Raul or something. I don't know. I'm just saying stuff. Or the people in Necropolis were like, hey, we developed this thing to help ghouls prevent themselves from going feral. I mean, ghouls seem pretty overpowered in this show. Like, the regeneration is insane. Thaddeus gets shot in the neck, regenerates. His foot regenerates after, like, the moment he takes that serum. Which, another thing, that serum is not FEV. It is not something special. I think it is genuinely this chicken fucker mixed up a bunch of various creature piss and he made a serum, and it's hella irradiated. Maybe it's ghoul blood. Who knows? Like glowing one blood? It wasn't glowing. I don't know, but it looked like piss. You tell me that's not piss, that's piss. Yeah, no, it's a good show. I'm looking forward to season 2. Do I think I'll be in season 2? A lot of people are wondering that question. No, I don't. But if I do, you'll find out. Anyway, thank you for stopping by the channel and listening to me rant about the Fallout show. I hope it was informative. I hope it was enlightening. And if you know, I'm curious what theories you have about where the show's gonna go, and you know what we kind of align with, what we, you know, where you disagree at. You know, make sure you leave all that in the comment, and check out the G Fuel code in the description. Get yourself some of that yummy, gummy G Fuel Quantum. And anyway, if y'all like this video and want to see more long form stuff like this, well, you know what to do. Your actions speak louder than anything else. Until the next video, I'll see you later. Bye-bye.